I've stepped back in time to the 1940s. What am I on about? Let's find out, shall we? Roll the intros. Hello YouTubers and welcome back to Chelmswood Modelling. I'm Peter. As the title suggests, today we have stepped back in time to the 1940s. We're at the Severn Valley Railway at Kidderminster for their weekend of stepping back into the 1940s. Today we're going to see some beautiful steam engines running up and down from Kidderminster to Bridgnorth, and we're also going to see some of the standing outfits that people are actually wearing today. So without further ado guys, we're going to spin the camera around and we're going to get to the action. Now this is going to be the first train out of Kidderminster, which is the 9:30 to Bridgnorth. Yes, it is a BR standard class 4. Yes, this wouldn't have been around in the 1940s, but as I was just speaking to the crew of the loco, they haven't got enough locos of the period to run today. So it's a steam engine, it fits for the 1940s, I think. It could have been around in the 1940s, but it wasn't, obviously. But this will be the 9:30 out of Kidderminster to Bridgnorth.
Highly, Hampton Lane, very due to arrive in Bridgnorth at approximately 10:45. This is the very final call for the 9:30 to Bridgnorth, standing at platform number 1.
Now we definitely have a periods loco. It is 7714, a ex-GWR pannier tank, and it is beautiful in, well, I suppose you can call this wartime black, but it's a shame that it's got a British Railways logo on the sides. So if you remember back into the 1940s, there was a government operation called Operation Pied Piper. Now this is where children from big cities like Birmingham, London, Liverpool, Manchester, Coventry were all evacuated from the cities and they went out into the countries. And this would have been a train that they would have possibly gone on. As you can see, they are actually marking this train up as an evacuee train. Obviously we're not going to have hundreds and thousands of children going on here today, but this is taking you back into the 1940s, remember that. So as we're walking down the station platform, we can see brilliant 1940s posters telling you about what to do and not to do during air raids and things like that. Again, this is the a poster for Operation Pied Piper, if I remember rightly. Hope I've got that right, guys. Lovely picture there of Winston Churchill. You deserve victory. As always, Severn Valley Railway have got Kidderminster Station looking beautiful with all their florals displays, and today we've even got a 1940s soundtrack. Just look at these roses, guys, absolutely beautiful. There you go, from waste paper to munitions of war. Yep, ladies that used to be at home with the children, even they were pressed into service during the war in an air raid. If you're out of doors, get under cover at once. If in the open with no cover, lie down. Don't think lying down would have done you any good, but I suppose it would have made you a smaller object. There's a St John's ambulance poster there for prisoners of war. But as always, guys, Severn Valley Railway, their beautiful floral displays are looking absolutely splendid. So back in the 1940s, this is the kind of shop that you would have seen, and two lovely ladies there that you would have seen with their beautiful hairstyles and outfits. And if you were rich and had money, you could afford fizzy pop back in the 1940s. Good old-fashioned beers. Now obviously, guys, they can't obviously have everything from the 1940s, so obviously some of these things have had to be recreated. But this caught my eye, guys. Coffee substitute, coffee with chicory mixture. Don't forget, back in the wartime, guys, everything was rations. Beautiful. So if you had a big enough garden and you were lucky enough to have one, this would have been your little air raid shelter. And I'm just going to try and get the camera in there, guys. Got a nice little set of bunk beds there at the back, a couple of benches at the sides, possibly like a oil lamp. And this is what you would have stayed in when you heard the air raid siren go off. And this is what you would have stayed in until you heard the second air raid siren to notify you that the raid was over. So this is a mock-up of a county constabulary police office. A lot different nowadays to what it would have been, well, a lot different to what it is today. But I'm going to have a chat with these guys and see if I can get an interview. So these gentlemen are obviously pretending to be a sergeant and possibly a constable of the constabulary. What would your job have been during the war in an air raid situation?
Well, just correctly, we represent the Great Western Railway Police.
Right, so you'd have been the equivalent of the British Transport Police today?
Predecessor to the British Transport Police.
Okay.
You asked, yes, in an air raid we would have worked with the air raid precaution people. First of all, ensuring that the blackout was maintained, coordinating fire and rescue, and just making sure that people are off the streets and in the shelters, also that there was no looting going on to try and prevent.
So there would still been people going out stealing from the railway lines.
The railways were renowned for people pilfering, more so than the ports, simply because there were so many miles of railways, so many miles of track and sidings and goods yards, and it was rich pickings from organised crime gangs to just the local sort of chancer.
So even in the war, you had gangs going around,
yes,
committing crimes. Even like today, you know, you got the guys that are going around nicking cars and obviously drugs and things like that. But back in the day, it would have been pilfering from the railways.
Pilfering from the railways. You also, yes, the black market, theft. A lot of criminals actually made their fortune during the war.
Okay. So would have coal been a big thing that people would have stolen as well?
Coal, definitely, because most coal would be used for industry, for your power stations and your factories. And coal for the home use was rationed. So yes, if you could get hold of coal, any type of coal, you would.
So that little clip in the old Railway Children film would have been an everyday occurrence
quite a serious
back in the war.
Because it would be the equivalent of somebody going around and pitching petrol or diesel.
Right.
Because it was the only.
So that would have been the equivalent of a bilkin now.
Yeah, yeah.
So what would have been the charge of if you were caught nicking coal from the railway?
Well, probably you'd leave it to the magistrates first of all. So probably for a first timer, it was probably a fine. If you were a persistent offender, it would lead to imprisonment in the end.
Or you could land up being kicked into the army and possibly?
You might have been given the option to join the armed forces, but a lot of the hardened criminals would have probably deserted the first chance they got as well.
And I take it obviously if the magistrates put the person into prison, the prisoners would obviously be press gang into making things for the country?
They might be. I'm not too sure of the criminal justice system there. So, but I know that they used to make mailbags in prisons and something, so they'd probably be doing some menial tasks to help the war effort, I'm sure.
Right, thank you very much and thank you for an interview.
No problem.
That there was an air raid on its way. So when you heard that, it was time to take coverings. So maybe the animal shelter over there or one of the shelters was available for you. Sound. So it would have been, the pitch would have gone up and down, up and down, up and down. Then at the end of the raid, it would have been just one constant
Continuous sound.
Continuous sound.
Different channels.
So then when you heard the continuous sound, you was able to come out. And hopefully be safe.
So guys, this is Peter. He is representing the ARP. Now Peter, can you tell me what the ARP was and what they would have done?
The ARP was air raid precautions. So it would have been my job to, as an ARP warden, it would have been my job to service the gas masks. We would have inspected the blackout, make sure that was being observed. If not, we could have issued fines.
So for those of you that don't know what a blackout is, if you've ever had a power cut during nowadays, in the 1940s during the war, a blackout, the government would tell the electric board to cut the power off from one certain time to another certain time. Am I right on that?
Yep, correct.
What kind of times would the blackouts have been? Obviously of a night time, but when would they have actually really been put in force?
As far as I know, as soon as you heard the air raid warning going off, well, at night there would have been a shutout of all windows.
Okay.
So even before an air raid siren went off, as soon as night fell, you would have blacked out, so there was no light coming from the windows. The theory was that a bomber, so many thousand feet up in the sky, would see a little chink of light. I doubt whether they ever would. But it was something they did as a precaution.
Okay.
And then the bombers would come over, they would drop incendiary bombs first. We wouldn't be in a wave of smaller bombers, they'd drop incendiary bombs, they would set an area alight, and then the heavier bombers would have come over and they would have been able to use that as a target.
As a marker.
The more high explosive bombs.
So the more the lights were out, the less the bombers would have had to sit on target.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would have been other roles that you would have done as an ARP?
As an ARP warden, you would be inspecting equipment, give out advice. We would have been in charge of a certain area that was local to us where we lived. So we would know all the streets, we would know a lot of the people, and we would just give out advice when needed or asked, or, as I say, we would have to enforce blackout.
Okay. And like you said, you would have gone round and inspected and serviced gas masks. Now, you have shown me there's two different types of gas masks, one for civilian and one for yourself. Why was your one different?
The ARP was massive an issue because obviously they thought it would have more use than the civilian gas mask, and they thought an ARP would need something more robust than what is basically a flimsy rubber shield.
So basically, it was made because obviously you would have been out on the streets where during an air raid, obviously civilians should have been undercover,
yeah,
and they probably wouldn't have needed their gas mask as much as what you guys would.
Yeah.
Now,
as it was, no gas mask was ever actually needed. There were false alarms, but there's no gas attack ever made on Britain.
thank you very much. And if you're wondering what fire extinguishers were like back in the day, that is your fire extinguisher of 1940s. A bucket full of water, a pump with a hose pipe. Now, kids, you would have been asked to help put fires out. Try using one of them. I couldn't do it, I know that for a fact. Peter, thank you very much for this interview, and I hope you have a lovely weekend.
And you?
Now, I thought I'd come outside, guys, while there's no trains in the platforms, and I just thought I'd show you around some of the beautiful, beautiful vehicles that have turned up today to celebrate the 1940s. And well, how about travelling to and from school and work on one of these buses, guys? Absolutely beautiful. Again, guys, there's some more beautiful, beautiful cars that you could have owned and driven back in the 1940s. And I'm not sure if the AA was around back then, but you never know. There's a beautiful AA badge on that car. Just going to head over this way a little bit, guys. It's got a couple of Jeeps. Now, I'm not into army memorabilia, but there's two lovely Jeeps here, and a car there that looks like it would have been commandeered for the war effort. So this is Rob. He is the owner of, if you can explain what your vehicle is, where it's from.
Right, she's a Willys Jeep. She was built in February 1944, so she's just under 80 years old.
Yeah.
And she's marked up as 35th Infantry Division, which were in Normandy, and she's a reconnaissance Jeep. Hence, they carried a lot of gear because they were living off the Jeeps for days, weeks on end.
Okay. And when would you have come over during the war?
Well, they came over to Britain before D-Day, and obviously they went abroad into France after the 6th of June 1944, and they were engaged in combat all the way through France, all the way through to Germany.
Okay. And do we know, was this one, did it actually see active service in France, or?
She certainly was in France because at the bottom of her engine there's a French rebuild plate, because the French army kept any Jeeps after the war because America didn't want them back, basically. So, but unfortunately we don't know any history because Jeeps didn't have logbooks or anything, so no.
And how old is this one?
She was built in February 1944, so that's just under 80 years old.
Wow. Thank you very much, Rob.
Thank you.
And can I say she's absolutely beautiful? I take it she is a runner.
She's a runner, yes, we drove her here today. I've had her 18 years now, and I hope I'm looking as good when I'm 80, I'll be honest. So.
Thank you very much. Now, for the young people that watch my channel, now we've all got recycling bins, green bins, brown bins for recycling, etc, etc. These were the recycling bins of the 1940s. As you can see, you've got food, paper, and even bones. They used to ask for bones to help make glue, so they could help to use the glue to make things for the war. And obviously tins, obviously to make munitions and things like that in the war. You got a period's beautiful painted and restored post box there, and the front of the station, as you can see, it's ready for its air raid. It's got the beautiful sandbags.
Look at him go! Okay, so wait for the cycle people. You know where they are. Look at him go! Look at him. Wow. It's really cool, isn't it? Shall we go on the next train? We'll come back for the next one.
Keep coming.
So this is John. He's reenacting as a gentleman from the Home Guard, I believe.
That's correct, yes.
So can you explain to me and my viewers what the Home Guard would have done during the war period?
Well, the Home Guards were originally LDVs.
And what is an LDV?
Local
People don't know.
Defence Volunteers, and then it changed to Home Guards during the Second World War, and they fought in the war to help protect the ammunition factories and the railways in case the enemy attacked and got bombed.
Okay. So in a normal everyday role, would you have a normal day job? Was this a part-time thing?
The Home Guards were all part-time volunteers, so they would have a normal daytime job and work a 12-hour shift, and then they would go and do work on an evening and go and fight out and do night patrols.
So those of us that are old enough to remember back in the 80s and 70s, Dad's Army,
Yeah.
when you had Captain Mannering, Sergeant Jones and people like that, you saw them, they would work in a bank, the butchers, etc.
Yeah.
And then you would go of an evening and be the Home Guards. And did the Home Guard ever see any real action within this area of Birmingham, or don't we know?
A little bit, yeah, there's a little bit of action, especially around Birmingham sort of area. And
So Birmingham and
yeah,
Coventry
where the
areas,
Germans invaded.
because obviously that's where they were building the munitions and the Spitfires, etc., etc.
That's correct, yes.
All right, lovely. Thank you very much, John, and have a lovely weekend.
No problem at all.
At the front of the stage though, for the opposite bandstand. And the next train to leave Kidderminster will be 12 if you original. That's the next train to leave Kidderminster will be the 12 the original. If I can just squeeze in here, ladies and gentlemen, to give you the final call for the 10 past 12 to Bridge North. This is the final call for the 10 past 12 to Bridge North. This train will be calling up immediately on the highly Hampton Road and is due to arrive in Bridge North at around about 1:25. This is the final call for the 10 past 12 to Bridge North.
Okay, this is the lovely John. Again, he's another reenactor for the 1940s event. John, can you explain what your role would have been in the 1940s? Tell me a bit about the bike, etc.
This bike and the clobber I'm wearing would have been used by military police on convoy escort duty, primarily for VIPs. Normally there would be a blackout mask with black and white checkered and a black and white checkered flag instead of that.
Yep.
That denotes priority convoy, all others to give way.
So that would be on the roads
Yeah.
to and from, say, like Birmingham to Bristol, or
Out in the field, yes, in operations, predominantly in this country.
or say like down to Bletchley where the Codemasters were.
Yeah.
And can you tell me a bit about the bike? Where was it made? How old it is?
It's a Veloset which was made in Birmingham.
Okay, so it's local to the area.
It is in fact a replica of the bikes that Veloset produced for the war effort.
Okay.
They didn't make as many as BSA or Enfield, but they made about 2,000 in total.
Okay.
And I built it from spares in 1984. I had so much fun on it.
Lovely.
A fortnight ago I was in France for D-Day celebrations. We did 600 miles there and back.
And without a fault, I hope.
Not with this one, some of the bikes had problems. This one ran okay.
But that's what you get with vintage things, as you know, with preserved railways.
Piglet.
You do find problems. Thank you very much for your interview.
Yeah, you hook it back up there. That sounds good. How many subscribers now?
1800.
1800?
It's slowly growing.
You know the DC Vlogs? DC...
I've heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, they're very famous on my country.
Have a look at that.
Follow them. They will kind of videos. How I wish them. I announce them.
Thank you, thank you. Looks like they got a problem, guys, with the pressure with the brakes from the train and the actual loco and the train. So they're just checking the brake lines. Again, these are preserved locos. They do get faults, and they're all old rolling stock as well, so we do get faults. So we'll just keep it filming, guys, because then you get to see what goes on behind the scenes. See how quickly they can get this fault rectified.
I don't think I will. It's basically where we go for a go. Yeah. We're going on the factory. Yeah. We're not going
Come on, ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation once again for this work. And they'll be back on stage for us for their final test at about 3:30 or so. Coming up in a short while, we have the return of the fabulous We're off to
It's a big anti-engine. No, brake pressure. Just talking a minute. Just that kind of pressure.
Fault sorted. Just a leak on the brake pipe. Probably wasn't connected properly. And as you can see now, guys, they're on their way. And I'm going to spin you around, guys, and the brilliant British Transport Police are on hand to make sure we're behaving ourselves. So there you have it, guys. That is our day at the Severn Valley Railways. Step back into the 1940s weekend. And what can I say apart from Severn Valley Railway? What an experience I have had today. It was so atmospheric with the music, the sounds of air raids, sirens, recordings of bombing raids. It was really made to feel that atmospheric. So a great big thumbs up to the Severn Valley Railway for putting on this weekend. It's a weekend that I wouldn't have normally come on, and I thought I'm going to come see what it's like. But I'll tell you what, guys, I'm so glad I did. I absolutely loved it. And also, can I say a massive thank you to the crew of the standard BR Class 4 for allowing me on the footplate and showing me and then letting me have a go at firing the loco. It's another one of those things that I can mark off my bucket list, and it was an absolute honour and a brilliant experience, and I would highly recommend it, guys. If you ever want to learn how to fire a steam loco, go to your Preserve Railways and do one of their experience days. I would highly recommend it. Hope you've enjoyed watching this video, guys. As always, I've had an absolute blast making it for you. If you have enjoyed it, please smash that like button down on the left hand side. If you've got any questions or comments about my day out today or the Severn Valley Railway in general, please post any questions or comments down the bottom and I will answer them as best I can. If not, I will try and find out the answer. If you're a subscriber of mine, you've been with me for a very long time, great big thumbs up. Thank you for staying with me. Hope you're still enjoying the content from my channel. And I would like to wish the people that have just joined my channel recently, great big thumbs up for for joining my channel. Hope that you're enjoying the content so far, and I also hope that you enjoy future content in the future. If you want to become a subscriber of mine, all you have to do is smash that the subscribe button down on the right hand side, click on the little bell icon, select on all, and then you'll get notified of all my videos that I publish. If you want to carry on watching videos from my channel, there should be a link coming up here and here. Until the next time, guys, look after yourselves, protect your loved ones, but above all, happy modelling, and bye-bye from Chelmswood Modelling.